I'm Danny. I am the founder and CEO of a company called Drop. I became fascinated by the concept of digital identities. And I read an article where the CMO of Gucci said, I'm going to start designing clothes to be worn digitally. And just something clicked in my head. And I remember Googling the term and nothing came up. Nobody had talked about digital fashion before, and nobody was talking about it. Digital fashion was essentially this industry's future. The fashion industry has a lot of issues because it's an industry driven by conspicuous consumption. In the words of Oscar Wilde, it's a form of ugliness so profound that we need to change it every season. The first issue is sustainability. The fashion industry creates more waste than the maritime and airline aviation industries combined. The second thing that I find most exciting is the democratization of who can be a fashion designer and how they can be compensated. The traditional fashion world has insanely high barriers to entry. And why I was so compelled by digital fashion was you really don't need anything more than a computer and 3D software. And so I started a platform called This Outfit Does Not Exist. And it was composed of these long newsletters around what's the technology, what's happening in the space, and then images on an Instagram page to bring it to life. I think both starting a movement, but also accelerating it in the public imagination. That's how it started. Started as a side hustle. Thought it would be a side hustle for 2 or 3 years, but then about 5 or 6 months later, the NFT boom happened. So it went from people thinking I was crazy to slightly less people thinking I was crazy. I made the decision to found Drop, essentially. It's a digital fashion platform. It's based around the thesis that code can be couture, a platform maximizing the value of digital fashion for its consumers and creators. One of the things I realized was there was not a digital fashion brand which really resonated with crypto native collectors. They also want technological uses that are relevant and resonant to them. So it's the first time ever that generative traits have been applied to digital fashion in a way that's more than just their appearance, it's actually fashion native traits. Each collection we create is in collaboration with a different digitally native artist. We work on a story together. We then code in these generative traits. Some will be consistent collection to collection, some will be completely unique to that artist. People don't understand why our work is craft. People are looking to, discount it and say, oh, this is like video game clothes. This is easily scalable. This should be $10, not $2,000. We're using high digital craft in a way a couture brand would be using high craft in the physical realm. Telling the story about how the stuff was made and why it's actually hard and why there's craft is just as important as creating something that's super, super beautiful. For me, curatorship is really having the opportunity to be a trusted voice, really not misusing that voice, because the second you lose trust or credibility, you're kind of done. I know that people are looking to discount digital fashion, especially people from the traditional world. So if I post a photo of myself in a dress, for example, and my arm comes off, people are going to be like, ooh, digital fashion, yeah. The setting has to be cool, yes, but the garments need to be very cool in their design, but also rendered to a degree where it's realistic. So if my friend from the fashion industry saw it, they wouldn't say, okay, this stuff is a joke. Every single time someone creates a piece of digital fashion and it's not good or it's rendered badly, the traditional industry is basically laughing at us. For me, that's one of the most important roles of curatorship. It's showing how high quality and how compelling these clothes can be. I think as well as empowering and shining lights on the right sorts of creators.